Hello, my name is Hubert and this is Teach Me channel. So, last time we went over how to factorize quadratic equations. I showed you how to factorize various types of quadratic equations, and today I will show you how to solve some exam questions that involve factorizing quadratics, and they commonly come up in the exams. So, without further ado, let's get started. I will start with simple questions and then we will move on to the more complicated and more involved questions. So let's start this off. First of all, we need to factorize this equation here. So this is the bog standards question, and as we covered it previously. By the way, if you haven't seen the previous video, please check out the link in the description. So here we have to find a pair of numbers that multiply to give us 10, because we have 2x squared here, so we have 2 times 5 equals 10, and we have to find the same pair of numbers need to add together to give us 7. So what options do we have here? We have 1 and 10. That will give us a 10 when multiplied, but it will give us 11 when added, so that simply doesn't work. However, another option we have is 2 and 5. Now, if we add 2 and 5, we get 7. If we multiply 2 and 5, we get 10. So this is exactly what we've been looking for. So now we have those pair of numbers. Let's throw this into brackets. Let's open up 2 brackets, and we have 2x in each of them, 2x, and let's plug numbers in. 2x plus 2, 2x plus 5. Now what do we do at this case? What do? We need to shorten one of those brackets, because if we leave 2x in each one of them, we will get 4x squared, and this is not what we're looking for. So if we shorten one of those brackets, we should get the right answer. Now, we cannot shorten this one because there is no common factor that we actually can use. Whereas we can definitely shorten this one because we can divide it by 2. So we divide this part by 2, which gives us x, and we divide this part by 2, which gives us 1. Now, let's rewrite this, and this is what we get. This is our answer. X plus 1 multiplied by 2x plus 5. So this is our answer to the first question. Sorry. While the question is relatively simple, it forms a very, very good basis for us to solve the more harder and the more involved question. So let's move on to the next one. We need to simplify this expression. Now, if we did not know quadratic factorizing, this would be an absolute nightmare to simplify, because we have so many x's. We have x's on both sides of the line, and we have so many numbers and a line in between of them, which always makes things harder. So this would be an absolute nightmare. However, we can use tricks by factorizing that will make this actually really, really much simpler. So this is going to be our game plan. So first of all, we are going to factorize both top and bottom terms across this line, and then we're going to use those factorized versions of this expression to find some common terms and cancel them out, and that will leave us with a much, much simplified version of this expression. So let's get going. If you don't understand, just bear with me. We are going to go through it. So, first of all, let's figure out the top part. So we have x squared minus 16. How do we factorize that? Well, if you think about it, essentially what it means is x squared, because it's squared, therefore it's a quadratic, plus 0x minus 16. That's how we can treat this equation. So now we just need to find a pair of numbers that multiplies to give us negative 16, and pair of numbers that adds to give us 0. Now, in order to get 0, we need to add the same number but a positive and a negative. So what number will work here? Well, 4 will work here. If we add negative 4 to positive 4, that will give us 0. And if we multiply negative 4 times positive 4, that will give us minus 16. So this is exactly what we've been looking for. So as normal, now we open up two brackets, throw an x in each. In one of them we have negative 4, in the other one we have positive 4. So this will form our top part of the final factorized version of this equation. So we are almost halfway there. Now we just have to figure out the bottom part. That's the second hard bit. So again, we have 2x squared minus 5x minus 12. So we need to find out a pair of numbers that multiplies to give us a negative 24, because we have 2x squared here and we have 12 here. We also need to find a pair of numbers that add to give us negative 5. Now, what options do we have here? We have 1 and 24, but this will never get us anywhere near negative 5. We have 6 and 4, which we could do, minus 4 multiplied by 6, which will give us minus 24, but it will still not work for the minus 5. So one option we have is 3 and 8. We put in positive 3 and negative 8 to give us negative 24, and we put in positive 3 and negative 8 to give us negative 5. So we are going to use this pair of numbers to figure out how to factorize this. So as normal, we chuck in 2x into one bracket, we chuck in 2x into another bracket, and now we just have to plug the numbers in. So we have plus 3 here, and we have negative 8 right there. Now we need to shorten one of these brackets in order to get rid of one of those two x's. Can we shorten this one? No, we can't, because there is no usable common factor that we can use. However, here we can do this. We can divide this by 2. So we get x and we get negative 4. So our final part of this expression will be looking something like this: 2x plus 3 and x minus 4. So okay, so we are left with this, and we are left with this. Now we are going to combine them together. We're going to put this part at the top, x minus 4, x plus 4, and we are going to put this part at the bottom, 2x plus 3 and x minus 4. Now check out what's happening here. We have two common terms at the opposite side of the line, so we can cancel them out as we planned. So we can cut these guys out, and we are left with these guys. That is our answer, essentially. Our answer is x plus 4 divided by 2x plus 3. So this is our answer, guys, and took us a bit of work to get here. But so essentially what we did was we just factorized two parts of the line, and then we just picked up the common terms, and that's how we arrived at the answer. Now the next question will be quite a bit more involved, but we will get through it. I will show you. So this is our final big question. In the exam, this would be worth quite a lot of marks. So what do we have here? We have a rectangle with a long side x plus 4, with a short side x minus 3. And the area of that rectangle, we are told, is 78 centimeters cubed. Now, what we have to do is we have to find the value of x here. So how do we do this? We are just left completely on our own, and we just have to find the value of x using just this information. Now, we need to form some kind of a equation that we can take further, that we can work with. So now let's see, we are given 3 parts of this information and we are going to put them together into an equation. So, as we know, area of a rectangle is one side multiplied by the other side. So using this, we can put together an equation. Area of a triangle will be, in this case, x plus 4 multiplied by x minus 3. And that will give us an area of 78. I'm leaving the units out here to keep this simple, but we will need to add them in the end. So this is what we get. Now, what on earth do we do with this? We essentially need to solve the quadratic equation. That's what we need to do. In order to solve quadratic equations, we need to make this part equal 0, and then have this part factorized, and then one of those terms will equal 0, which will give us an answer. So I will explain this in more detail as you go, so don't worry if you don't get it at this point. Now let's first think about how we can make this 0. We have to just transpose it using basic algebra. However, probably the easiest way to do this is first to expand this part. So let's do that. So if we expand this part, we get x squared x squared minus 3x plus 4x, therefore plus 1x here, considering the minus 3x, and minus 12. So this still gives us 78. Now, what do we do with this? We transpose this equation by taking away 78 on both sides of this equation. So what are we left with? We are left with x squared plus 1x minus 90, which will give us 0. Now, as I explained, we need to factorize this equation in order to give us 2 terms that we can play around with to give us 2 answers. Now, as normal, we need to find a combination of numbers that multiplies to give us negative 90 and that adds to give us positive 1. So what options do we have? We could try 1 and 90, but that will not work. That will never ever get us anywhere near that positive 1. Another option we have is 9 and 10. So we can do negative 9 times positive 10, which will give us negative 90, and negative 9 plus positive 10 will give us plus 1. So we will put those together to create a factorized version of this equation. So again, we open up 2 brackets, we chuck in an x in each one of those, and then we throw in a negative 9 here, and we throw in a positive 10 here. That's what we got, and that equals 0. Now let's take this over here. X minus 9, x plus 10 equals 0, guys. So now, how do we solve this? Well, 0, in order to get 0 by multiplying, one of the terms absolutely has to be 0. That's the only way we can get 0. So one of these brackets has to give us 0 that we will be multiplying by the other bracket. So let's explore both options that we have right here. Okay, so if this bracket is the one that is going to give us ultimately 0, the x need to be positive 9. So positive 9 minus 9 equals 0. So here x would have to absolutely be positive 9, whereas on this side, if we do something plus 10, well, x has to be negative 10. So if we do negative 10 plus 10 will give us 0. Now, so we are given two possible answers. Now, which answer is the true one in this case? Well, let's think about this. This is a rectangle, so let's move away a bit from maths and let's just have a look at it. A rectangle has to have some dimensions, and those dimensions absolutely have to be positive. We cannot have a rectangle with negative sides. They have to be positive. So whichever one of those answers is, when plugged into those brackets, it needs to give us a positive value. So can x be negative 10? Well, negative 10 plus 4 will give us negative 6, and negative 10 minus 3 will give us negative 13. So this cannot possibly be the answer we're looking for. How about this one? A positive 9 plus 4. Positive 9 plus 4 will give us 13 here, and positive 9 minus 3 will still give us a positive 6 here. So this is the answer we are looking for in this question. X equals positive 9. So this brings us to the end of this video. I hope this helped you. I hope this showed you how to solve these questions in the exam. And thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them in a comment section. If you want to stay up to date with daily videos on sciences, on maths, and on some videos will be on university level biomedical sciences, please press the subscribe button below, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you very much again, and see you next time.